get started for today. It's great to see all of you again. LA students, this is our last of 10 convocations for the semester. As part of this last day, I'm going to let those cheers continue. I want to take a moment and say thank you to your first-year mentors who have been so dedicated and given so much support. So we're going to get started very quickly this morning. I just want to say, as we roll into the last segment of the semester, good luck to you on all of your finals. May you have good energy and see through all the projects you've been working on. At this time, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Carolyn Suda, who will continue with our presentation. 7 years ago, Mariella Shackford began her American journey, welcomed by Monmouth College, arriving as a refugee from war-torn Syria. 7 years ago, I met a most remarkable woman, a woman who has become my Syrian daughter, a woman who has touched the lives of so many people in this community and, frankly, around the world. Mariella had a degree from Aleppo University in business when she arrived, but here she received her bachelor's in music with a degree in violin and performance, her passion all along. How many times she has performed on this stage for us, and you are in for a treat today. I had never known anyone with more drive, more tenacity, more dedication, or more ability to work. When here, Mariella did not practice 2, 3, 4 hours a day. In between classes, she managed to practice all day and well into the night. In fact, we had to make a law that she couldn't sleep in Austin Hall anymore. She worked and she worried about her family and her friends in Syria. And this is the special part. She laughed and she spread joy and positivity everywhere she went. Mariella went on to earn a master's degree in violin performance in Chicago, but she had begun another direction and a new cause. She works for the cause of refugees around the world, for peace, and the ability for music to close barriers between people. Mariella has appeared at the White House as ambassador for change. She has been invited to speak at Harvard, at Georgetown University, and universities all over the country, and venues in Hong Kong, Dubai, London, and the list goes on and on. In fact, her first performance at Kennedy Center was introduced by President Wyatt
majority of women stayed home and were discouraged to pursue their ambitions. I was blessed, however, to have a mother who believed in me and realized that such a lifestyle was unsatisfactory and unproductive. She suffered deprivation when she was young and fell short of fulfilling her dreams. So she decided to put all of her energy into me. I must confess that she was often pushy and assertive, but she encouraged me to explore a diverse array of opportunities, everything from music school to sports and art. Her belief in my ability pushed her to commit actions that some people might consider impulsive. Once, she was crazy enough to use her month's salary to pay for my flight ticket from Aleppo to Damascus to have a scholarship interview. I love Syria, but Syria has never been enough for me, even before the war. When I was 12, internet access was limited to academia personnel and doctors only. At the time, I managed to convince my father to purchase internet access for our apartment, and I offered to pay out of my pocket just to have the luxury of communicating with the world. I was restricted to 13 hours per month, but I used it very carefully. Since then, my motto has become, if you have a will, nothing can be impossible. My best friend from childhood had immigrated with her parents to Florida when we were in the 6th grade. I kept in touch with her regularly. Every time I asked her in my phone calls and emails, how can I come to America? I had a profound desire to come here to have a better education and life. My dream became true 11 years later. I knocked on many doors along these years. Nothing kept me from searching and digging. The urge intensified in 2012 when the war escalated in Syria, and my city Aleppo started to mourn its people day after day. We frequently woke up to the massive sounds of the explosion. Without electricity or power, I decided to hide in internet cafes to send my applications to schools and programs in the US and Europe. I was struggling in the darkness of a ruined city, running under bombs falling everywhere to have any opportunity for survival. After 6 months of sending over than 70 applications, a miraculous email landed in my inbox from Brent Tooley at Monmouth College back then, asking, was I alive? I thought, wow, someone behind the ocean actually cares. That email was my visa to the States. While I was at the University of Aleppo to collect my diploma on January 15, 2013, I had an unforgettable experience witnessing an explosion that ended 82 lives that day. Many of them were friends of mine. At that time, I had just graduated from the University of Aleppo with a major in business administration. I was also employed as a full-time violin teacher at the Arabic Institute of Music. I did not know how I survived on that day. I can still hear the sounds of ambulance sirens and the screams of mothers and children. Later that day, I remember walking to the music school to teach, not knowing if I would make it back home in the evening, as mortars were falling everywhere randomly. My students and I would regularly hide under the table when we heard the airstrike and missiles hitting a close neighborhood. Every day, we risked our lives by being there. Aleppo before the unfortunate war used to be a beautiful of me still believes this is all just a dream. I find it extremely difficult to accept that my city is now in ruins. I would like to show a video about Aleppo before and after the war and see how things have changed there. Let's watch it together. It breaks my heart to see what people in my country are going through. Rebuilding the infrastructure is just one thing that could be done with our hands. But rebuilding humanity and deconstructing antagonism from the mind of people is something else that should be done with our hearts. Death in Syria did not scare me, but watching my dreams fading away did. There is nothing worse than living in a place where your biggest hope is to see the sunshine of the next day. Aleppo was besieged by the time I received my visa to travel. All the roads from and to Aleppo were closed except for a very dangerous gravel side road. Let's watch that area. a day before leaving Aleppo. That was extremely scared. Scared to risk the life of my mother, who was going to accompany me from Aleppo to Beirut to catch a flight to Florida. I begged her to wait one more day and see if anything would change. The next day, our neighbor advised us to go to an area in Aleppo where private buses gathered to pick up passengers, but it would be at our own risk, as these buses are not affiliated with any company. I had to say yes because my flight ticket had already been booked and I did not know if I would ever get a second chance. The trip on that bus took us 17 hours. Normal days, it's not more than 5 or 6. Over than 50 checkpoints of soldiers along the way. At many of them, they thought the violin case was a gun, and I had to prove it was not. So they would make me open the violin case, pick up the violin, and inspect it. The bus driver got lost in an area where I could not see anything apart from destroyed buildings. A couple of days after I arrived to the US, I learned that 3 buses had been completely bombed while trying to take the same route. And people I know, including my doctor from Aleppo, were killed. It turned out that the road had become target for snipers. My violin and I made it safely to the US. My time at Monmouth College has been one of the best experiences of my life. The liberal arts school and the entire community opened their arms and hearts to welcome 18 Syrian students. They offered us not only a great education, but also a warm and safe home to flourish. My professors here, David and Karen Sula, helped me so much to overcome the language difficulties and the hardship of being separated from my family. They became my American parents. They touched me with their warmth and kindness, and they made me a better person. My words are never enough to express my gratitude and appreciation. It's now 6 years later. Although I feel safe here, I live in a constant fear about my relatives and friends who are still struggling in Syria and surviving without the basic necessities of life. In November 2016, our neighbor across the street was killed by a rocket falling. An hour before that, she had phoned my mom to invite her for coffee and visit. Fortunately, my mother had been asleep and she couldn't pick up that phone. I feel that she was saved by a miracle. For many years, my father used to go to the adjacent neighborhoods in search of wells to get water. Death was so close, and sometimes I feel that my violin has saved my life. It has been a wonderful journey here in Monmouth College. I found love, I found support, I found even more than that. Refugees have always been an integral part of this country, and the United States has always been the haven for millions of immigrants from all over the world. I would like to show a video about a refugee girl who fled to Turkey and then to Greece and Macedonia on a rubber boat.
أنا اسمي أمينة المقدسي. طلعنا مسؤولية دولة تركيا مقابل محتوى معنا. مش مظبطين، نفسنا شوية، ضلينا ساعتين، يعني في بس قالوا إني مش خايفين. أنا مش خايف، أنا ما بس أكون أستحمل، بعرف أسبح. بس صرنا بالمياه الإقليمية، إجت الطيارة تفرجت علينا وبسرعة إجت البحر. طلعنا لهون تهريب من اليونان لهون تهريب، حتى كمشونا وأمي قعدت بالوادي راحت انكسرت رجلها، يعني شوي تنكسر، وعينا مي ونرجف من البرد وفوتونا الأكل. يعني رجعت لأختي، الكل يعني بيشتاق لبيتنا، لجيراننا، الكل بيشتاق. وأكثر شي أحبه أخوي الولد، وأنا ما بحبش أشوف إشي مش حلو، أكون أشوف إشي حلو. وبحاول كمان نفيق الصبح نتحمل ونفطر ونروح المدرسة، يجي الناس يتعلمنا لغة إنجليزية، لغة ألمانية مقدمية، ونروح نرتاح في البيت وننام شوي ونتغدى ونرد نروح المساء على الروضة. فأنا أكتب وأرسم ورد كتير منيح، وكنت أشوف شغلات جودة وعقلية قوية كتير. تكون مدرسة إنجليزية درست وعلمهم خليني أحفظ أعطي شهادتي ويجي على الصبح. مستقبلي كتير حلو، طول حلو، حياتي ما نزعل، حياتي الجميل حلو، وبعمل الشغلات الحلوة عشان ولادي يساعدوا يفرحوا. هي رسالة مني لكل ولاد.
No parents would risk the lives of their own children to death in order to cross the Mediterranean unless the water is safer than their own land. No one would wish to be a refugee in a foreign country, starting all over from scratch. One of the worst things that could happen to any one of us is to end up as a stranger, vulnerable and numbered. To be a refugee is to master being resilient, rebellious, courageous, fearless, and always willing to compromise. Global force displacement is at an all-time high. Over than 70 million people are displaced now around the globe. That's equivalent to the population of California and Texas combined. One of the main events which I got to be part of was presenting alongside Kate Blanchett and Janina Jolie, Ben Stiller, and Meryl Streep. This is as part of my role as a high-profile supporter for the UN Refugee Agency. I had the chance to raise over $1 million alongside these beautiful human beings for a dear cause to my heart: refugees. Refugees were being forced to flee their countries, work day and night to not just survive, but strive to be the change at their new home. Speaking about home, I would like to bring you my Syria through this Middle Eastern piece called Sea Waves, and it's arranged by my friend Ayaz Al-Yaman. Syria was 25 million. Now, over than 15 million Syrians are displaced around the world. But we are not that number. Each one of us carries a story, memories, relatives, and parents. People often ask how they can help. It's definitely possible to be involved through simple but meaningful engagements. Of course, Mahmoud College did a marvelous job in offering full and partial scholarships to Syrian students. It would be great if we can extend this program and encourage other schools to take part too. It doesn't have to be only Syrian students. It could be some ambitious students in conflict zones from places like Kashmir or Yemen. Many hardworking students find themselves stuck in a war zone, facing death or losing their education. Offering scholarship to such candidates means a great deal beyond learning. It's a life-saving opportunity. We need to raise awareness and hold fundraising events in our schools and communities. Many organizations are working tirelessly on the ground, but the demand is huge. Millions of children have been left without education or even shelter. We need to be compassionate of those around us and try to support them. Every bit can help change the life of a child or allow him or her to go back to school safely again. I believe that every human being is a potential, but only if given the chance. I hope you all appreciate the opportunity of living in a country like the US, where you have the facilities to succeed. Others, for example, are desperate to find simple things we take for granted here, like electricity or water. Millions of people suffered terribly during the Holocaust. Yet, the Holocaust is still ongoing in Syria, Yemen, and other regions. It's time for us to wake up and realize that education is the key. Anne Frank was so in love with reading and studying. She wanted to devote herself for this. She once said, "I must do my schoolwork to keep from being ignorant, to get on in life, to become a journalist." She realized from that early age that education is the best weapon we could have to defeat extremism and ignorance. I want you to be hopeful, but dreams remain a mere fantasy if not nurtured. Never stop working to reach your goals. The easy path is surely tempting, but it will never be fulfilling. As Norman Vincent Peale says, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars." Do not expect success to come your way without dedicating time, having determination, passion, and courage. It's the love to go for things without stopping. Be the best version of yourself and aim to reach your maximum potential. Remember that drive and energy are 2/3 of success. Perfection is an endless battle. Aim for the progress and for this year to be better than the previous one. Enjoy the process along the way and don't concentrate only on the outcome. The process is a journey, so make the most out of it. Think about your next move rather than thinking about the entire work you need to achieve. Do not assume that your colleague is lucky and you're not. Believe me, there is an opportunity for everyone here to solve. When this opportunity arrives, you should just jump on the train, as it will not wait here long. I confess that I received a beautiful chance to be admitted in the US, but I also endured a lot, from detention at the airports to missing many flights, because often airport staff members do not recognize what a refugee travel document is and its regulations. working on for the last 7 years to become an American citizen and have the privilege of holding the American passport is a thing most of you are born with. Do not feel disappointed if you are not a typical person who has a dream profession and who follows certain steps. It's okay to take things slowly and explore as long as you're excelling and progressing in what you do at the moment. Construct the future you love. You may work in a totally different field than the one you studied for, and that's okay too. Hold awareness and ask yourself whether you're satisfied and whether you had a meaningful and productive day. Always believe in yourself and never allow anyone to underestimate you. Everyone here is talented and unique in a different and beautiful way. Use the gifts you have and try to find your forte. Be the person you aspire to be. Hold on to your present and prepare for the future, but relate to your past. We say in Syria, the hit that doesn't break you strengthens you, implying that we should all learn from our own experiences and use them as a foundation for tomorrow. You're the captain, you're in charge. Your destiny is your own craft. Question yourself, why are you here? And what is your purpose in life? Think about having an impact in the world, because one day we shall all say goodbye, but our work and reputation will eternally stay. In a few days, I will be off to London. I will be off to be with my husband after being separated for many years because of visa issues. It will be a new adventure and new chapter in my life to go live in London with all the love that I have for this country. I guess it sounds exciting to many of you to go to a city like London, but tourism is much different than residency. I know I will face ups and downs. I'm certain I will cry and miss my American life and parents here. I don't expect beautiful roses on my way, but I pray that I will meet people there who will inspire me to continue. I trust that I will find the energy and resilience to carry on. I shall stand up again and again and never give up. We should dare to take risks in life, because if we don't try enough, we will never learn. And it's okay to fail sometimes and learn from our own mistakes. But it's never okay to shut down and welcome despair in our hearts. The most important part in life is that we keep trying and never take anything for granted, because even seasons change regularly. Always depend on yourself, as no one will know your best potential better than you, and no one will care about your future more than you do. I know how frustrating it could be sometimes to work on your assignments, research papers, and essays, to stay overnights preparing for your finals, but know that all efforts you put in today will return to you tomorrow once you apply for jobs and grad schools. I wish you all the best in your endeavor, and may you all have the remarkable and bright career you deserve. I feel powerless to change the current tragedy ongoing in Syria and in the world. But I believe so much in the power of music to bring the world together and remove our differences. For me, music is a way to sing my home and take you on a journey to see my city and admire its beauty. Music is also the bridge that has saved my life and brought me here. Surely it's not going to feed a child or put a roof above a refugee's head. conclude this program, I would like to perform Dunki Piano Trio by Borja. I am so honored to be joined with Perez Suda and Tim Feo, two of my dearest people. Tim has been an extraordinary support along these 6 years. I thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate a lot the friendship and the support. Thank you.